Muscle tone. Determination of the tone of a muscle is an important clinical examination. If a muscle is flaccid, then either the afferent or both neurons involved in the reflex ARC necessary for the production of muscle tone have been interrupted. For example, if the nerve trunk to a muscle is served, both neurons will have been interrupted. If polymyelitis have involved the motor anterior horn cells at a level in the spinal cord that innervates the muscle, the afferent motor neurons will not function. If conversely the muscle is found to be hypertonic, the possibility exists of a lesion involving higher motor neurons in a spinal cord or brain. Muscle attachments. The importance of the knowing the main attachments of all the major muscles of the body need to be emphasized only with such knowledge it is possible to understand the normal and abnormal actions of individual muscles or muscle groups. How can one even attempt to analyze, for example, the abnormal gait of a patient without this information? Muscle shape and form. The general shape and form of muscles should also be noted, since a paralyzed muscle or one that is not used, such as occurs when a limb is immobilized in a cast, quickly atrophies and change shape. In the case of limbs, it is always worth remembering that a muscle on the opposite side of the body can be used for comparison. Smooth muscle. Smooth muscle consists of long spindle shaped cells closely arranged in bundles or sheets. In the tubes of the body, it provides the motive power for propelling the contents through the lumen. In the digestive system, it also causes the indigested food to be thoroughly mixed with the digestive juices, a way for contraction of the circularly arranged fiber, fibers passes along the tube, milking the contents onward. By their contraction, the longitudinal fibers pulls the wall of the tube proximally over the contents. This method or popularization is referred as peristalsis. Cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle consists of striated muscle fibers that branch and unite with each other. It forms the myocardium. Types of a growing bone and that between the first rib and the equilibrium sterni are examples of such joint where movement is possible. A secondary cartilaginous joint is one in which the bones are united by a plate fibrocartilage and the articular surfaces of the bones covered by a thin layer of hyaline cartilage. Examples are the joints between the vertebral bodies and the symphysis pubis. A small amount of movement is possible. Synovial joints. The articular surfaces of the bones are covered by a thin layer of hyaline cartilage separated by a joint cavity. This arrangement permits a great degree of freedom of movement. The cavity of the joint is lined by synovial membrane which extend from the margins of articular surface to those of the other. The synovial membrane is protected on the outside by a tough fibrous membrane. Examination of joints. When examining a patient, the clinician should assess the normal range of movement of all joints. When the bones of a joint are no longer in their normal anatomic relationship with one another, then the joint is said to be dislocated. Some joints are particularly susceptible to dislocation because of lack of support by ligaments, the poor shape of articular surfaces, or the absence of adequate muscle support. The shoulder joint, temporomandibular joint, and acromiclavicular joints are good examples. This collection of the hip is usually congenital, being caused by inadequate development of the socket that